Hello and welcome back to episode number 84 of the TalkNorwichCity podcast, on a week where Norwich City won their 7th game in a row to go 7 points clear of 3rd place with 7 games left of the season. And the man next to me is running 7 marathons in 7 days. I didn't screw that intro up. John Norman, how are you, mate?
You didn't. 7 is the number at the moment.
7 is the number.
Magnificent
7.
Magnificent 7.
How are you?
Good. Great to be here.
It's still light outside. We record these on Monday evenings usually in the evening, and it's just nice to look outside and it to still be light and the outlook looks bright for Norwich City, Chris.
It does, and it looks so bright, Jack, that even Anel Hernandez is hitting up Yarmo.
Hemsby it was.
Oh, sorry, Hemsby. Sorry, was it? Oh, was it
was
not Grey Yarmouth?
No, it was Hemsby.
Oh, right, so it wasn't Grey Yarmouth.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay.
So, for the people that don't know John, and we'll get on to Hemsby later.
Hang on, we haven't done the presentation yet.
Oh yes, sorry.
yes.
So what have we got here?
A gift.
That's very kind of you.
Yes, a gift. 2015 bottle of wine.
Beautiful.
Thank you
Can we
so
call this
much.
vintage?
We should.
I think we should.
There's another one to add to the big post-season extravaganza, Jack.
Indeed,
isn't it?
yeah.
Morstan Hall.
Galton has invited us all to Morstan.
Wow.
And you're now invited as well.
I think this probably tops the bottle of champagne
Thanks, Chef.
that Galton brought us. Yeah, John, who are you? What do you do? And why are you here?
Good point. First of all, absolutely honoured to be on the show, boys, and been following your progress over the last few years. It's amazing to see what's happening, especially this season, seeing the way your world is getting bigger.
Checks in the post.
Yeah, thank you. So I am the official club chaplain at Norwich City and have been for the last 4 years. And so that's what I do part-time, and also my wife and I, Chantal, we run Soul Church in Norwich. So
amazing.
Kind of wear 2 hats, and yeah.
So chaplain at Norwich City, what does that entail?
It's basically football's very much about the body and the mind. My job is to look after sort of the spiritual well-being, the support outside of football. So I don't get involved in any of the tactics, any of the anything to do with football. But if a player needs a conversation offline, if a player needs some support with family, a lot of players are moving into the area. It can be very challenging for people moving into a new culture. So my job is just to help players settle in, support them when they need it, and just be there. And we've seen with Cardiff this season, Leicester, some of the tragedies that can take place in sport. Thankfully, that's not happened to our club, but if anything ever happened in the future, as a chaplain, we're there to support players, families, and the club.
So this is more of a support basis rather than a religious basis.
My job is not to ram religion down people's throats. Obviously, I'm a follower of Christ, but first and foremost, my job is to love people, support people, and help people. So that's not the motive. The motive is to just give people.
So do you work closely with the player liaison? So a player comes in, player liaison engages, they then meet you. What's the timeline of events then?
Can do. Obviously, Phil Lithgow does the player liaison stuff, and often I meet with a player if there's a challenge that's come up. If it, just say, for example, I'm helping one of the members of staff right now. Their kids struggling to get into a local school, and as a chaplain, I can offer some support and some guidance with that. So it can be really practical, but anything to make their lives easier off the field. And I think sometimes we take it for granted just how difficult it is for a player to settle into a new environment, to a new club, new language, new food. There's so many new things.
Do all clubs have this role, John?
A lot do. Probably about 70 to 80%. There's a national chaplaincy organisation, and I'm a part of that, and so that helps as well, giving it a covering.
It's just great to see that the club are being proactive in that area. We spoke a lot during the tough times of late, in the last few seasons before this one, how your mental psychology is just so super important, and time again, if you're getting knocked down every Saturday, you need someone like you in the room. So kudos to Stuart and the gang behind the scenes at the club for engaging with someone like yourself. I think it's super smart.
Yeah, the club's been fantastic. The way they've just opened their doors to it and embraced it, and I think it's been a win-win. It's been it's helping the club, and it's not just for players either. It can be for the groundsman,
the staff as well.
Staff, and there's a culture now at the club where it's not like hierarchical, but it's across the board. We're there for one another. There's a real family.
Amazing.
And I think it's interesting you raised that point there, John. me and Chris, when you're a boy and you look at a footballer, you think, wow, they've got it all. Good money, playing on the pitch we all dream of playing. But when you dig into it, as you say, especially this season, new cultures, new food. If we were to go out to Germany and set up a job, that's not easy.
No.
So it shouldn't be easier for footballers, and that support is vital, isn't it?
It's vital, yeah. And football can be we see footballers in the stadium, it can be a very lonely world, especially those who are coming in from overseas. They don't have any family support, and footballers work hard. I know there's this kind of thing stigma that they don't. They actually do. They work long hours, and they're in early. Sometimes it's double sessions. They're also getting home late at night from away games. They're in first thing in the morning. So there's a lot of pressure on them. So I feel my role is just to be there. I went in on Christmas Day this year because I felt like, if all the staff are required, I'm going to come in and show some support and be there for them as well. Those little things I think can just add that little bit more value.
I agree with what you're saying, John, because I won't name names because it's unfair to do so, but I was once told by a former Norwich player fairly recently that it's very much footballers live in a bubble. And I'm starting to get that now, particularly when I'm engaging with someone like yourself, John, about how you say it's lonely. And I agree, it's weird because all of the Norwich fans have got your back, yet you can't walk around in the supermarket without someone having a selfie, which is great, but at the same time, sometimes you need that deeper relationship. So I think it's really important. The guy was saying to me, when they finish football, sometimes they're like, oh my God, what is this world? What's it all about? How do I get on? What do I do? Yeah. So I think it's so super important. I'm so pleased that the club have got you on board, mate.
Yeah, and you just touched on something there. When a player finishes at the club, and I think for me, I try to keep in contact with those who do, because I think some of the challenges, as we all know, begin when their careers finish. And so,
about
to finish. And, the academy, Lewis Blois, who's taken on the academy chaplaincy, is so important because it's right now that players are getting let go by their scores. And you think, they've put their whole life into this hope they're going to become a professional Premier League footballer, and it hasn't worked out for them. And it's soul destroying because maybe they don't have the education that they need right now. And so, I think the club has been amazing the way they've given Lewis and I an opportunity to support, help. Sometimes it's just that one conversation that can maybe be a catalyst to start something new direction in their life.
You say you've been at Norwich City for 4 years now, and in that time we've seen promotion, relegation, a dodgy championship season, and this current season. How much does the mood change around Colney depending on what's going on the pitch? Because I, from the outside, look in and go, if we've lost on a Saturday, it must be pretty miserable on a Monday. But having spoke to people who are at Colney, they've gone, well, it's not really that different.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think probably back a couple of years ago, since Stuart and Daniel and the team have arrived, what I've noticed is there's been a lot more. It's been steady, even when we've lost, and they don't get too excited when we win, and they don't get too low when we lose. And I think that's a really healthy culture. And it's all about culture, and that's one thing that Stuart's brought in, his ethos, around the club, and it's been fantastic to watch it work. And they say it takes 3 years to develop, change a culture, and you can really see in that come into fruition now, which is amazing. And there's just a real culture of trust. There's two cultures you can have in life: suspicion or trust. And Stuart and Daniel have created this culture of trust, where there's trust amongst players,
trusting young players, particularly
young players, and rather than being suspicious of one another. So I actually think as a club we've never been healthier. We've never been in a better position to actually go to the Premier League and actually do something quite significant. And that could be just stay up, but that is significant for us.
Yeah, of course.
Do you think it's going to change, John, when we get to the Premier League, this culture? Do you think that we're now talking a good game of culture, good stuff's happening, but when we get to the Prem with maybe 4 or 5 losses on the bounce potentially, do you think that we're in a good place to combat some potential issues there?
Yeah, I think they've built in this inward. I mean, even the fact this year we've not had a red card, that talks to me about culture.
You've read the agenda, haven't you?
Have you read the agenda?
No, I read a tweet earlier, but I didn't read the agenda. But that talks to me about culture. That there's respect. There's, players are taking responsibility for one another. They're not letting their teammates down. I don't see that changing. And what you gents have been up to Colney and you've seen the facilities, and it's going to be like walking into a brand new training ground when these guys come back in September, and we're in the Premier League.
Like that.
It's like a new training ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talk about lifting the spirit, lifting the culture of the club again. So, there's no doubt about it. We could have a couple of heavy losses next season. We're not, we're not all silly here. But I firmly believe the culture that Stuart and Daniel have created in the club is one that will sustain us for a long period of time.
Great, good answer.
Yeah.
But what about recruitment, John?
Yeah.
How do we recruit someone with that working hard ethos, switched on, culture, gets it, wants it, respects their team members, but super talented to beat some of the top teams? Because we've seen it a lot in the Premier League this season, even in the Championship on a small case with Nelson Oliveira in our team. Sometimes you need someone with a bit of arrogance, a bit of attitude. How do the club potentially combat that, if that's not too much of a big question to ask?
No, it's a good question, and I think Stuart and the team have got a sharp eye for spotting these guys. I mean, if we looked at the starting lineup on Saturday, with the exception of a handful, we didn't even know half these names a couple of years ago.
Yeah, definitely.
Who was
Scary, isn't it?
Pukki, who was Juan Hernandez.
Yeah.
We go through that team going, actually, but these guys who are specifically skilled in spot, and I think there's no doubt about it, they're going to have been watching the players that already, getting an eye on them, and hopefully snap another Timu Pukki, another bargain, another. There's no reason why that culture can't continue into the Premier League.
So when these, as you mentioned there, Timu Pukki and Emi Buendia, when you go up Colney and
hello, my Siri's going on.
I wasn't asking Siri.
I've got an Australian Siri, by the way.
See these players for sort of the first time.
Yes.
Can you instantly tell? Yeah, they're cut out for this. Can you just tell that vibe?
Yeah, I genuinely don't think that Stuart and Daniel are signing players that don't fit our culture anymore. I think.
And have we signed?
Yeah, there's been knee-jerk reactions, especially in January. They always say it's the worst time to sign a player because they're overinflated and you don't know who you're buying. It's just you're probably trying to fight a relegation battle rather than staying.
Yannick Vilchkut worked out okay.
Oh, Jack, you've got to drop Yannick.
So I think there's a system they go through. They're looking at players not just on the field but off the field. They're doing their homework, and that's why they're getting the players in that they have. So long may it continue. And I have faith in the team, but also have faith in the staff and the management who are finding these lads. And
love that.
Yeah,
good. It's interesting though, isn't it? Because these, I'm going to call them buzzwords because they are buzzed about a lot. Culture, vision, things like that. This was all being talked about last season.
Yes.
But the performances weren't replicated on the pitch. And I know we had a season of transition, but it's tough as a football fan to see out the long game. So do you think we're only talking about this because it's going well? Say if we finish 10th again this season, do you think culture suddenly isn't relevant? Again,
culture takes time. It's like going to the gym. If you go to the gym 3 or 4 times, nothing's changed. Well, of course it hasn't, because you've got to play the long game. Unfortunately, in football, you don't have that opportunity. But thankfully, we've got an incredible board and owners in Michael and Delia who believe in Daniel, they believe in Stuart, and they've given them time, and that is paying off, and we're seeing those results on the pitch. And you've only got to walk into Colney and just see how friendly the place is, and that has not changed this season. That was the same last season. That culture is being instilled into the staff and the team.
Good.
Stuart's bringing in people to speak to the staff. People who are leaders in life, not just in football, and it's helping. You can see the progression of the club as a whole, on and off the field. So, I am really confident about next season.
Are you?
Can you tell?
How confident?
Absolutely.
Where are we finishing?
Are you going to be flying out on a European tour in a couple of years? That
confident? Be nice.
Go on, John. Say something mad for the title. I tell you what, I'll come in.
I'm going to go mid-table. I'm going to go absolutely smack bang in the table.
Really?
So we're 20, aren't we? 20 clubs in the Premier League?
Yeah.
So I love how we're talking about the Prem. I love how we're talking about the Prem.
Yeah.
That's brave. Or is it?
I don't think it really is it?
Ooh.
7 on the we won 7 in a row.
Indeed. Nice link there. You're running 7 marathons in a row.
Yes.
In 7 days. That I can't even comprehend that in my brain. Why are you doing it? And what went through your head when you thought, this will be a good idea?
Did you have too much of that wine?
Too much tea. Many of you know we're building a new church facility. The church facility we're in at the moment is we're just grown out of it, and so we have to build a purpose-built facility. I had no idea that building a new building isn't just like hundreds of thousands, but it's millions.
Right. Is it because it's going to be the best thing in Norfolk?
Well, I don't know. It's going to be let's put it in this context. It's going to be a building to serve the city.
Amazing.
So schools, entertainment, drama. If people need to use a facility, it's there. And so we wanted to build a state-of-the-art facility, a 1,200-seat auditorium, which there isn't one in Norfolk.
1,200 seats.
1,200 seats. So there's one in obviously the Theatre Royal, but it's hard to get hold of that. So
Ipswich might be able to fill that.
we won't get into that yet. So I had this idea. I personally wanted to take responsibility for 1 million.
Okay.
How could I personally raise 1 million to offset against the £7 million, £8 million target? And so I thought I needed to do something that was going to get people's attention.
Yeah.
I've thought about loads of things. I thought jumping out of a plane, but a lot of people are doing that.
It's good. Have you done it?
No, I haven't.
Oh, mate. Unbeatable.
Do
it.
Beatable,
one of the
mate.
best things you'll ever do in your life, promise.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Good.
And then the other thing was...
Maybe we can jump out together. How about that?
I'll hold your hand. And a friend of mine ran 7 marathons in 7 days in the States and raised $1 million. He said, why don't you try that?
Nice.
He said, it'll get people's attention. And it has.
Yeah.
So we started training 14 months ago. Seems a whirlwind away. And
Were you a runner before?
not really.
Right.
So a little bit, 10Ks here. And I had run one marathon back in 2006, the London Marathon. But that was just agonising.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then Norwich City jumped on, but Stuart said, we'd like to get behind it. He goes, I want to run one as well.
So he's running a marathon?
He's running a marathon.
Is he?
Day 4, Thursday, Colney.
I think Tom Tribal should definitely be roped into this because he could easily run one with
I
you
think
and then
so.
run and then
He wouldn't
play
stop.
the next day. Yeah.
So some of the players are going to do some laps. Stuart's going to grab the players because we're doing 50 laps of Colney, which is going to be mind destroying.
Wow.
The good news is there's doctors on hand,
Nice facilities.
food on hand, nice
I
facilities.
hope you're not going up that new hill that they've put in there.
No, we're not going to do that.
Doing the sandcastle. Yeah.
So it's to raise money for the
Class.
for the new facility, which is going to serve the city. And we do a lot of work with homeless people in the city. That's one of our big outreaches. And there's going to be shower facilities, a clothing bank, a place where they can come in and have food. And so for me, it's not about a building, it's about helping people's lives move forward.
Yeah.
And also having a link over to the Open Academy across, having drop-ins for kids after school. And the Heartsease is the largest community in Norfolk. So we're going to be serving that community firsthand. So
Amazing.
yeah, I'm excited about it. You know what? Whatever we raise, it's something, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do people? We'll obviously link the fundraising page down in the description. Is it simply just donate what you got?
We use like a Just Giving thing or I think it's stewardship. Just drop in and.
If anyone's got $1 million, just drop it in. Let me know.
But
Brilliant.
yeah, so it is to make a difference. And a big thank you to Norwich City for getting on board. I mean, that means a lot, the world to us.
Good. Well, you'll probably be needing some of Stuart's leg massages in the future. I've heard they're good.
He's a machine.
Is he?
He's quick. Yeah,
Is he really?
Yeah, he's.
I thought you were about to say he's a machine at massages. I mean, that would be
I don't know about that.
Interesting.
Who knows? Anyway, what we can say are machines are the Norwich City players at the moment.
Yes.
Chris, 7 wins in a row.
Yeah.
That was, for me, season defining at the weekend.
Really?
That was it. Yeah.
It was season defining at Leeds, Jack. So
But this is another season defining.
it's another season defining. Okay.
It felt big though, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, and I think that it was quite a good statement in terms of who we are as a club and what Borough are as a club. Massive club. I'm going to insult you a little bit. There's the traditional British, been there, done that, long hoofball. I think they've spent something like 20 million. We've spent 4, I think. Was it 4 million?
Something like that. Yeah.
And just the stark contrast in terms of entertainment, the way that the ball flows between the lines for us is exceptional. And if I was a Borough fan, I would be booing them like they were because it would be boring. The fact that they've been playing Johnny Howson out of position for half the season is atrocious. I mean, I don't know what to say really. I mean, it was a very, very good performance. It was, despite the fact there was one terrible chance at the end where I thought, oh my God, they've equalised here. I don't know. I think the luck's, I mean, this is the thing, you create your own luck. And at the moment, everything seems to be falling in our favour. Even the Sheffield United result as well, which is a big result in terms of that 7-point gap. Anel Hernandez was wicked. Absolutely wicked. And I think what Daniel Farke has done is he has made Anel Hernandez who he is in terms of his final product now. You questioned it massively recently. He's definitely answered. And I think that if he keeps that up, he could be... I mean, I said this, right? We haven't had a player like Huckabee since Huckabee. And I thought Redmond was going to fill that role, but he didn't quite have it. The crossing wasn't there.
You're saying Hernandez is better than Redmond?
I am, yeah. I'm saying Hernandez is better than Redmond. I am. Because the thing with Redmond is Anel Hernandez is a beast from the east. He is gonna steam train through you. If you don't move, he's gonna buff through you anyway. And I think there's something about Anel that gets you off your seat. And although we had that with Nathan at the start, sadly for him it didn't pay off. But I definitely think that Anel has got the opportunity now to be as good as Huckabee if he continues on this line. If he continues on this line, it takes a lot of consistency. And I'm not saying he's there yet, so please don't bully me. Not there yet, but he's just got that fact that it's just so exciting to see a winger that gets you off your seat, isn't it?
And John, I think the plaudits, most of them have gone to the attacking players this season.
Yeah.
But defensively,
Zim.
I mean, we haven't been great all season defensively, but the last few games, you've just looked at that and gone, that's a solid championship defence.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Christoph Zimmerman, Ben Godfrey, they're just like walls, aren't they?
Yeah.
Just tower blocks in defence. And that's why, for me, when we're talking about the Premier League, I'm speaking so confidently because I just can't see the next 7 games which one of those teams is going to get past that defence. Yeah. So for me, it's
I like that.
You know, we might lose an odd game. I just can't see us losing 4.
And I love how you've just said Ben Godfrey and Christoph Zimmerman. You've forgotten Max Aarons and Jamal Lewis as well. I mean, and they're players who...
Tim Hanley.
Exactly. Yeah. There's international. We've got 2 international defenders
sitting
Tim
on the
bench.
I know he's had his critics this season, but for me, you know, I see him off the field as well as on the field, and he is a leader. And I think again we spend so much time, you know, getting our opinions from the players on the field, but we don't see what they do off the field. He's a leader. He's a leader. He brings out the best in people. He brings the culture that we want into the club, and I think, you know, yes, he's made the odd mistake like most of the players this season. Obviously, his are highlighted more because he's a keeper, but I think he has been a dynasty in that goal.
It's interesting that you bring up leaders, John, because the thing that I screamed and shouted and moaned about last season, post Russ and Wes, was the lack of leaders. And I don't just mean on the pitch shouting and screaming, but it's so good that the club have almost recruited leaders. I even think about Timu Pukki. He's not so vocal on the pitch, but the way that he manages himself, he's so professional on and off the pitch. A leader, leading the line. Tim Krul at the back. Zim, leader. Ben, for his age, a leader of the young guys. All across the pitch, you've got these leaders, and I think that has been one of the key things. Fitness has been massive. I was talking about that at the weekend when I was on the radio. But the other thing as well is definitely having leaders, 100%.
I totally agree. And I think there's leaders and then there's emerging leaders. And I think what we had last year, because obviously with the transition of Russ and Wes, these were leaders. You know, but then last year we didn't realise, bubbling under the surface, there was these emerging leaders.
Like that.
And they've now...
Is that a trait? Or
yeah,
is
I
that
think
taught?
it is. Is it nature or nurture? I think it's both.
Right.
So nature, I think Russ Martin is a born leader.
Yeah.
And he's not just a leader, he's a leader of leaders. He will one day coach a top club because he's a leader of leaders. But then there are those that you can nurture. And I think Christoph Zimmerman would fall into that.
Interesting.
I can't believe he wanted to give up football. I can't comprehend it.
It was on Sky, wasn't it?
Mental.
Well, he wanted to be a teacher. I could see him being a good teacher.
But he is a guy, this leader is emerging out of him.
Yeah, agreed.
And it's Daniel and Stuart, they're drawing it out of these players. And you just see the togetherness of it.
After the pitch with the fans.
Yeah.
It's just exceptional, isn't it? They're so grateful.
Yeah.
All of those players now are so grateful. Yeah. And I mean, a key thing for life, full stop, without getting too deep. But the players are so grateful, John.
Yeah, I think there was a picture, one of you boys might have put it out a couple of weeks ago. It was after a win. Who did we play last away game? One before Borough.
Borough, God, you're challenging me. Go on.
We should know this.
We should all know that, but we don't. And so if anyone can help.
It was...
Jesus.
I don't know. I think I know the pitch you're going to say, though.
It was Timu Pukki had been subbed.
Millwall? No.
No, that was ages ago. Anyway, go on.
That was the last one I went to.
Go on.
You went to the one before. No. You went to it, Jack. Come on.
Did I?
North.
Was
It's not
that
North, is it? You went there with Jenny. It's nearly you camped in Leeds and then you went to the game.
Keep
Yeah,
talking and I'll
this
get the
is so
picture.
Stumped.
No.
Stumped.
This is
All
so
right.
embarrassing.
Okay, so there's a picture that went out. I think you wanted, boys. It just said togetherness. It was Timu Pukki and Michael McGovern
Yes.
jumping
yes.
in the
Yeah.
air. There was air.
Yeah, Mickey.
And they were hugging. And I thought, you know what? That shows culture and
I
leadership.
cannot believe
Have we got it yet?
The last away game.
Sorry, mate, I'm getting there.
We've lost
We've lost
it.
it. We've lost it.
It was
We've lost-
Rotherham.
Rotherham, of course
That's
it was.
the one.
That's the one.
How was that?
How
Yeah.
dare we forget Warniola?
It was literally a week, 2 weeks ago.
You were there, Jack.
I was there.
We
Yeah,
won
I
ugly.
wasn't there. I've got an
Yeah.
excuse.
Yeah, no, I was there.
We won ugly. It's togetherness because it's Timu Pukki, Michael McGovern. Now, Timu Pukki started, forgive my ignorance, probably most of the games this season.
Yeah.
Definitely the league. You've got Michael McGovern, who's not started one. Yeah, at the end of the game, they are in each other's arms. And I thought, that's culture. You've
And at
not
the
got-
weekend, Hanley jumping off the bench at the end of the Middlesbrough game. Similar situation.
That's culture. And that's why we are where we are.
Love that. And again,
Yeah.
Jordan Rhodes. I mean, just
Yes.
yeah, everyone and the fans as well.
Yeah. In terms of
positive.
the midfield partnership as well, I think that's been the positions that have been debated the most. Is it Kenny McLean? Is it Maurice Leitner? Is it Mario Vrancic? It seems like it's clicked at the moment, and it seems like we've found the partnership to take us forward, at least for the next few games.
Yeah, I mean, it seems that every partnership you found clicked really.
Yeah.
And then an injury came in and he just had it was almost forced on him, but hats off to Daniel because I actually said to Stuart the other day, I feel like he's given most players in our squad an opportunity this year, and it's been bad luck that's taken them out or the formation that they've had to change.
Yeah.
But, you know, when we look back on 2018-19, it will have been a squad promotion.
Absolutely.
The squad have played their part. And I love that.
Yeah.
And what's your opinion on the squad getting the Player of the Season
That's
award?
nonsense. I'll shut that down right now.
Hey Jack, I disagree as well, but we're here to interview John. So
First time
John,
I've
what's
heard of
your
that.
opinion? Do you think there should be an award for the team, or do you think that's just for the trophy at the
Well,
end?
surely that's their championship medal.
I agree,
Yeah.
Jack. I agree wholeheartedly.
I think it needs to be a player's player. Someone's got to choose.
In that case, who
Absolutely.
is your player of the season so far?
Oh, so far.
Or if you had to vote now, who would you vote for?
Right now, go. 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
I'm going to go totally out there, Tim Krul.
Wow.
Totally out there.
No, that is out there. That's outrageous.
He's furious.
I'm seeing. I'm making
love
that
that.
opinion from holistically on and off the field.
Love
He's
that.
come into a new club, a new culture. It's brand new to him. We're top of the league, and the way he organises his back four, he talks to them. Yeah, he's made a couple of mistakes, but what player can we point out that hasn't?
I cannot tell you how happy I am that you've said that in front of Jack Reeve.
Really?
You're coming on again next week.
Chris, who would you vote for?
Max Aarons.
Yeah, same.
The thing, look, Pukki will win it. I think Pukki will win
will
it.
agree with that.
I think,
I don't know if he will, you know.
mate, Pukki will win it. But I think because traditionally, if you look back at the player of the seasons that have been awarded, it's normally been to the player that's delivered the goods up top.
Set the song.
I think Christoph has been well and truly. I think he deserves to be in the mix. Christoph, 100%. But for me, I picked the player of the season in terms of consistency.
Right.
And that 1,000,000% is Max Aarons. There hasn't been a player on that pitch that's delivered 9 out of 10 performances every game like Max Aarons. And I will never forget when we went to Ipswich away, backs against the wall, we chuck in Maxi Aarons, the young guy that we all felt sorry for, and we stood there and we said, no, you know what? He's good enough to deliver the goods. And he did it at Ipswich, and we thought, blimey, that's good, but it's just a one-off. And he did it again, and he did it again. And there's not been a single moment this season where I've gone, Max had a bad game today, or even an average game. And the thing with, say what you like, I think Pukki is brilliant. He's scored a lot of goals. He is probably one of the main reasons why we're going to go up to the Premier League, of course. But for me, Max has added so much width, dimension, pace, aggression as well. He puts players on the floor and he makes them scared. And he's so sensible and mature. So for me, Max Aarons is 100% getting my vote.
Good. John, can we call Pukki's current run a drought? Is this a goal drought for Pukki?
I mean, it could be. Didn't he score for Finland?
No. Got an
He set one
assist.
up though.
He got an
It
assist.
was a lovely.
yeah,
it was pretty much a
quality
goal.
assist.
Yeah, it was
Look,
good.
every striker's going to have times in their career times in the season where, you know, I think it's a matter of time. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he bagged a brace on Saturday.
Yeah. Hat-trick, Hattie.
Hattie, could be a Hattie on. Haven't had a hat-trick
I've been
before.
told off for shortening words. I'm not allowed to do that.
I'll allow
anymore.
Hattie, I think.
Sorry.
Well, if you're Jordan Rhodes
Yes.
and the striker that's in there instead of you hasn't scored for 6 games off the top of my head, are you getting frustrated?
Yeah, I think you are. But it's how you show frustration. Frustration will either come out in negative or positive emotion.
Right.
And so for Jordan, he's a class professional, because if he's not frustrated, I'm frustrated that he's not frustrated.
We're all frustrated.
We're all frustrated.
Yeah.
That the fact that, you know, he's still, you know, playing around with the crowd in the corner, having fun, enjoying himself, I think it just shows what a model professional he is. But he also knows he's putting himself in Daniel's shoes, and he's saying, look, I probably have to make the same choice. So,
Yeah.
you know, because you've got a striker who is prolific, he's scoring on a regular basis, minus this short little drought. And I think Jordan gets that.
There's no Vans Wolfswinkel, is it, Jack? Let's be real.
No.
No.
Poor old Wolfie.
And I'd certainly be worried if I was an opposition team, knowing that Dennis Shrubeni is yet to come off the bench as well. That could be carnage.
Yeah. He's still got the big goal in him.
He
You reckon?
It's coming.
You think?
I think there's going
I
to
love
be a big
that.
Dennis Sbreni.
Do you think?
Yeah, I do.
To take us to the Prem?
It-
The goal?
The goal.
The goal to take us
goal.
to the Prem?
Why
Dennis
not?
Shrubeni?
Yeah. That
I'm
would.
buying it.
If you're watching Dennis, we believe in you.
I do.
I certainly believe in you.
There's no one I believe in more.
Right, let's get to some Twitter questions. First question from Jez from Bez. He asked, John, can we
Here
get
he
some
is.
divine intervention into our penalty takers? They are not blessed with wanging it into the onion bag, are they?
No, they're not, and I'll have a word. However,
Hang on. I'll have a word.
not with the strikers.
Please help us.
If we were sitting 7th and 8th, I think we'd have a crisis on that. But right now,
Yeah.
we're 7 points ahead, and let's not get too caught up that we've missed a few pens. I'd rather have that and be where we are than...
Yeah, agreed.
Do you think it's almost us feeling sorry for our opposition that if we were to score
Yeah.
the penalty, the league would already be wrapped up?
Yeah.
And that
Oh,
wouldn't be
God.
fair,
And that
would
wouldn't
it?
be fair. It wouldn't have been fair on Sky, on a whole load of things. So I think we've done this for the
It's
benefit
almost like
of
our
some.
handicapping system.
Yes. Daniel's had a word with the strikers and said, look, boys, just put that one wide at the keeper. So it's all part of the strategy to get to the Premier League.
Yeah, I'd like to think it is. Joe Denton asks, for the final home game of the season, for the Lap of Honour, how should we celebrate promotion? I say Daniel Farke to be paraded on a horse with a Bavarian band playing Norwich City chants.
So much
with
interest.
ladies in Lederhausens and a giant German beer glass.
Delia in Leidenhausen?
Well, it's up to, that's the question. What would you do,
I
Chris?
think it's as plain and simple as this. If someone creates a crowdfunder to get Daniel Farke a horse on the promotion-winning home game, we'll back it. TNC's fully behind you.
We'll stick some money in.
Surely someone at Carrow owns a horse.
Well, they had horses when we smashed Ipswich. The horses came out.
That
didn't
is
they?
true.
So there's got to be some available. I mean, I actually looked the other day. I googled hire horse Norfolk. I've done something. I've actually inquired. I called them up, but they said that they wouldn't do a quote over the phone. I'd have to actually say
Face to
what's the
face.
event, what's the date.
Right.
So look, someone out there is mad enough in the Norwich fans. Start a crowdfunder. We will back you.
Or if you own a horse, get in contact.
yeah, shit. Yeah, I like that.
Why
Yeah,
the
I
long
like that.
face?
Oh, yeah.
The thing is, though,
terrible.
John, now
Yeah.
Daniel has said he's scared of horses.
He's not, is he?
So we need to overcome that, first of all. Does he face his fear, or does he simply pick another animal to ride on?
Yeah, I think we should probably.
He's got to do it
there's
for
not
the
so
fans.
many. There's not so many animals you can ride, is there?
A big dog?
I've just watched Dumbo. I mean, a
Dumbo, now we're talking.
big dog. You might have the animal rights people chasing us
yeah.
down.
I definitely think a horse needs to be involved.
Yes.
Just to
Didn't
have
he
a
ride
pop
a
of
horse,
people.
though, in Germany?
He did.
Yeah, that's why the song is
Yeah.
the song. Just to kind of say to the people that for some reason don't like Norwich fans singing that song, ha ha, he's on a
Come on,
horse.
some Norwich fan out there, you've got access to a horse.
Someone has got access to a horse.
Let us know. Jack
Yeah.
Reeve, Chris Reeve. Make yourself a legend.
Johnny Norman. Yeah, I like that, mate.
Make
Yes.
yourself a legend. Write yourself in the history books. It
In
was
that-
your horse. Hashtag,
Yeah.
It was my horse.
Yeah. Put a massive, you know what? Put a sponsorship
Yeah.
banner on
No,
the horse.
no.
We could tattoo the horse.
Ooh.
Not literally. All right, let's get back on to it before.
Ben Roberts asks, if Norwich were to somehow bottle it now,
No.
how would you cope?
I don't think that's a question.
Is it not?
Let's just ignore it. I find that question offensive.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, we don't need any negativity.
okay.
No interest. Let's
Okay.
not give it any airtime.
Who would you prefer to join you in the Premier League? Asks Bristol Rovers polls.
On a serious note, I would be broken.
Right, well, it's not
Seriously
happening.
broken.
The chaplain lives like 6 doors down. Yeah.
Cheers.
Right.
Yeah, but you'd surely be broken as well.
I have to stay strong.
Bristol Rovers polls ask, who would you prefer to join you in the Premier League? Sheffield United or Leeds United? Now, I know that's the best of two evils there, but who would you prefer?
Leeds United.
Why?
Bigger club, classier fans. I absolutely despise Dean Henderson in goal for Sheffield. I think he's arrogant, out of order. I think he lacks class. And I don't like Chris Wilder. And how Chris Wilder has got Manager of the Year over Daniel Farker, I do not know.
Okay.
Less budget. We've won more games. We're 7 points clear of them. That for me is fraudulent. So Sheffield, honestly, Leeds United should come to the Premier League. Definitely.
Good.
Although, I must say, I think Sheffield United will come up with us. I think Leeds will bottle it, sadly.
Okay. John, what do you think?
I'm going Leeds. My best friend is the chaplain of Leeds. And so we have this kind of like, who's got divine intervention more? So I feel like that is me.
Has he said what the mood around there has been like? Because it's been an interesting one behind the scenes with them, with the whole spy gate and...
Yeah, I think that's kind of calming down a little bit. I think a bit of nervousness around there.
Is there?
I bet.
Where I don't think, we wouldn't want to be in their position.
That Millwall game for them was close.
Yeah,
and I think they would have... I think from there, if they lose that game, season's gone. 100%. So fair play for them overcoming that.
But I think I'll stay with you. I want Leeds to go up, but I think Sheffield might just have the edge.
Sheffield is so consistent. I looked at... Just like I looked at our fixtures, I looked at Sheffield United's, and I can't see. But then I said they wouldn't. But then they lost against Bristol.
Yeah.
But then Bristol have been good. I look at Sheffield's game and I think, where are they going to lose a game? Flip side of that, I looked at Ipswich's last few results and fixtures to go, and I can't see Ipswich picking up a point. I really can't.
What have you made of Ipswich this season, John? Did you expect it?
You don't have to be nice. We'll let you off.
No, I've got one of my friends who's a big Ipswich fan.
John.
So
How close?
All people are equal.
Close. I love how you had to say that.
I think they've been in a slow decline for years, and this is almost the icing on the cake or the cherry on the cake. And I just think,
Icing on the cake.
Icing on the cake.
That's quite strong.
Relegation. I just think they've been in decline for so long, and they've just capitulated this season, and now they're in the doldrums. So I think this has been coming again. We've been building, and they've been in recline. So it's just been a matter of time, just watching them. They can't fill a stadium. If you can't fill a stadium against your local rivals, Norwich, you've got problems.
Agreed.
So,
do you think Paul Lambert will stay there, John?
I can't think he will. He's not going to be manager in the League One.
No?
No, I can't see that.
But he's saying it. I mean, you get people.
Yeah.
Do you buy what he's saying?
I'm buying what he's saying right now, but in 3 months, I don't know, a Rotherham or a low-level Championship club come in and offer him more money or offer him a better contract. He's not going to stay, is he?
We have to talk about this, Jack. I mean, you posted that video today on ITV. Am I allowed to say that? Well, screw it, I just said it. You posted that video on ITV today, and I don't get why Ipswich fans, and seriously, I'll take off my Norwich City glasses now. Paul Lambert has played for Borussia Dortmund, for Celtic. He's managed Aston Villa, and he's actually saying he's never seen anything like it before. I mean, words escape me. Words escape me. I think I can't see how Ipswich fans are believing it. He's the best salesman. He's the best salesman in Britain. I want to hire him.
Yeah.
Seriously, best salesman in
Come
Britain.
and work for Soul Church.
Yeah, he'd make $1 million, wouldn't he? Yeah.
He'd do well.
Yeah, he'd change opinions.
Never seen anything like it, he'd say.
I love that. Let's look ahead to this weekend then. It's QPR. QPR sacked their manager today.
Yeah.
Now I went into work today incredibly optimistic. I said, surely you can finally buy what I've been saying all season. We're going up. And they all said to me, well, QPR have just sacked their manager. They're going to get a bounce now.
Oh.
Do you buy that, Chris?
No.
QPR going to beat us this weekend?
No.
No?
Right, we've been saying all season. I think this game could have I think we could run them over.
Right.
I think we really could run them over. The problem for them is if they sit deep and invite on pressure, that's only going to last 17 minutes before we score. But then if they commit themselves, we're going to find the pockets and smash them to pieces. So, yeah, I think, I mean, what do you do? And actually now, and it's happened on a key day in terms of preparation for the game. I know it's never a good time, but for it to happen in the new week, so to speak, not straight after a game or even on the Sunday, it's happened new week. All of the prep for the game goes out the window. Start again. So I think that they're going to find it very difficult, and I personally think that we could win by quite a few goals actually.
I think there's been a shift this season. Last season, previous season, we've been very much focused on the opposition, but I think there's a culture at the club now where it's like we're so focused on how good we are. Right. It's like, well, we're not even. Yes, we've got to, respect QPR and as a club and as players, but I think the fans are going into this is Norwich.
Well, Daniel is. Did you see Daniel Farke's post-match interview after Borough? We're going to attack. We're not going to just sit and scrape results now because we're close to the finishing line. Yeah. He wants to muller teams. He really does, and I really love and respect Daniel Farke for coming out and saying it. And fair play to him because he said at the start we didn't buy it, but now we're buying it. And it's brilliant to see.
And they actually want to win the league.
I love that.
It's just not good enough just to get promoted now. There's this atmosphere around the club. We're going to win that league.
Yeah, and I love how other fans of other clubs think that we're not entitled enough to. They say that Norwich don't deserve it, or we're not a big enough club. And I love that, and that must be working to the players' favour, John.
Yeah, I think it is, and they've just got this attitude of every game is we're going to win, and they're so focused on our strengths rather than the opponent's strengths.
I know we've had players on there before, Halsey, Huckabee, who've achieved promotion with Norwich City, and they've often said they've won a certain game and they've gone, yeah, we're done. Like I think Huckabee said in that 03-04 season, they had about 7 games to go, and it's like, I think he even said it. They won a game at Christmas and they were like, it's done, we're up. Yeah. We believe in ourselves that much. I think with Holte it was a little bit later. Has there been a game this season where we've won and you've thought, because you're judging the vibe of the players, you've thought, we're up?
Yeah, I think you can fluke being top at Christmas. Right. I think other teams can have bad injuries, you can scrape a few lucky wins.
Good fixtures.
I don't think you can fluke where we are. Especially the teams we've played. And I think after the Rotherham game, there seemed to be a shift of actually we are going to win this league. So I think there was probably a shift 3 or 4 weeks before actually we're going to do this. There's been a shift in mindset actually now.
Love that.
We're going to win the league.
Right.
And that for me, it's almost like we're giving, we're talking about winning the league rather than...
And that's going to create a real atmosphere at Carrow Road.
Well, it's only ever happened once.
But the lid is off now. Yeah, well, and look, the lid is off now. It's almost like...
But surely we have to manage expectation here as well.
Well, yeah, Jack.
Because you can get ahead of yourself.
But this is the good thing, Jack. I still think that there's not an expectation, but I feel like the fans get it, and the fans will get behind it versus expect. I feel like at Carrow Road on Saturday, it's going to be one of the loudest stadiums that we've heard in a while. I think hearing going up, ole, 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 we are top of the league, up to the Premier League we go. That will lift the players so much, and I just think it's ridiculously impressive. Going back to what John said about that positive mindset and actually going to win the game, win the league. I remember Russ said to me offline, but not offline anymore, unlucky Russ, that Chris Hughton, one of the last things that he used to say to the players before they went out on the pitch was, if we concede. Oh, what an awful thing to say. And you can just tell now that mindset is completely flipped. And it is brilliant. And I don't have enough words of praise for Stuart, for Daniel, and actually for you guys listening and watching, for the fans. The fans have just been... unbelievable, and you saw that at Borough again. So many fans making the journey up. It's special, and the last few away games will be carnivals, and I cannot wait.
My job here, John, is to not let us get too carried away. When does confidence turn into arrogance, and is that a possibility?
Yeah, I think if you came to the club I don't think you would realise where we were in the league, because the culture's just, as we said already, it's calm. People they're not singing songs in the change room, we're going to win the league at all, anything like that. It's just there's a quiet confidence. I think Daniel and Stuart have got a good lid on that. You're always going to get some players or fans who go into that, and I think there's just such a strong culture there that it is confidence. I haven't seen the arrogance creep through in this bunch of lads. Of course, you've got to keep an eye on it in any organisation, football club. But I think Daniel, he will have them level all the way through to the end.
I know when we had Jake on here a few weeks ago, he said, the youngsters, the Jamals, the Maxes, the Bens of the world, almost their naivety is helping us, because it's fearlessness, and I think you have that as a youngster, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you see that?
Yeah, they just play. Jack and I were talking offline earlier about this whole thought: feel the fear and do it anyway. And I think fear is a part of our lives. I don't think you ever overcome fear. You just deal with it. And I think especially these young guys, Jamal and Ben and Max, they've come into the team and they've got to be feeling the fear, the pressure, but they're just getting on with it. And I think that that's incredible. And again, hats off to the team, to the management for believing in these young guys. I mean, what managers believe in kids?
True.
Not this
level.
Not enough. Not enough. Yeah. So yeah.
My final question to you both. This has been a fantastic podcast. If you've just won 7 matches in a row, and maybe we'll flip it with you. You've just finished your 7 marathons in 7 days. We saw Onel Hernandez celebrate by going down the arcades in Hemsby. How would you celebrate? The arcades in Yarmouth?
Goodness gracious, that's a 18+ question, Jack.
Is it?
No, it's not. I think, God, got myself into trouble then, haven't I? How would I celebrate? I think I'd go to Redwell for a pint.
Right.
I'd go to Redwell Brewing for a
Nando's.
pint. I do love a Nando's, but I only go to Nando's with Angus. So
you still own, I think, 16.
Redwell, yeah. He's joked about that. He's coming back. He's going to come back and watch a game hopefully soon.
Not play.
Well, come on. No.
Okay. John, how would you celebrate?
That was naughty.
If I just ran 7 marathons in 7 days, I am going to sleep straight to Five Guys.
Oh, really?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's going to be a...
Watch that grease fall out the burger.
with a Coke.
Yeah.
And salty chips.
You're acting like you've been on a diet though, John, but you exclusively revealed that you are still consuming your wine. And
well, I'm just consuming anything, really.
Anything that will give you energy, I love that.
It's unbelievable. You get so hungry, you come back from running. Honestly, you could eat anything.
It's the South Africa blood, isn't it?
Oh,
you need your wine. You need your wine to keep going.
I've got a quick thing to say to everyone listening and particularly watching on YouTube now. Comment below with who you think will be your player of the season.
Yes.
Let's debate this now. Let's get this over and done with. I think Max. I think there's shouts for Timu, Christoph's in.
Tim Krul.
Tim Krul. I
No
mean,
one agree with that.
Do you think that's rubbish? I mean, I personally don't think it's rubbish, Jack. Okay, but I just want people to comment. Let's start debating this now.
Good. John, thanks so much, mate.
Good
luck with the runs.
Thanks, Jack.
And the runs.
Please, not them kind.
Marathons.
Please do donate if you've got any spare pennies knocking about. Chris, thank you. And we'll see you on Saturday for QPR. Bye-bye.